Hi, I'm Joey Powers, one of your hosts of The Best Pictures.
I'm Don Tretler. Welcome to the show.
Today we're going to do an episode on movies that should not be remade. I mean, I'm talking like A Star is Born. You can't remake that, right?
Can you?
You can't remake
Only
a
a few
movie like
times.
that. I mean, it's just there's so many movies that have been remade to death, which we kind of caught up on last week. But there are just certain movies, you watch them, and you just should not remake them.
Ever again.
Ever. Like, for one reason or another. I mean, it could be because it's such a terrible movie that it's like, don't even attempt it. Or it's such a remarkable movie that it's like, don't even attempt it. It's like, it's already perfect.
What if you were to take, though, I was thinking, a lot of stories are very similar. What if you were to take a movie out of its context? Say it took place in World War II, and you put it in space. But the same story.
That would be interesting. I mean,
But you don't call it the same title, you just call it something different.
Right, but just still have the same plot and everything. And yeah, no, that would be interesting. What comes to mind when you think of a movie that flat out should not be remade? What is the first thing that pops in your head?
Casablanca.
This is gonna shock you. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Casablanca?
I've never seen Casablanca. I know
You'll probably be disappointed when you see it. You'll be like, wait a minute, this got built up.
Right, because I think it's number 3 on AFI's Top 100. I mean, it's considered one of the best movies of all time. I know that. Like I said, I have a rule before 1960, unless I'm forced to watch it, I don't watch it. Especially black and white. I'm just not a big fan of black and white either.
Right.
But I mean, I know for a fact without ever seeing it that it is obviously a classic movie that probably should not ever be remade.
Another one would be The Godfather.
I have seen The Godfather many times, and I'm still mad they made Godfather 3. The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, I don't know if I can name a handful of movies better than, I almost argue that Godfather 2 might even be better than the first Godfather. I mean, they're masterpieces.
Right.
It's
They
like,
are.
and then you watch Godfather Part 3, and it's like, it got nominated for Best Picture. I feel like it had to be just because, but it's like, it shouldn't even be, it's like Halloween. Did Halloween and Halloween 2, and then Halloween 3 wasn't John Carpenter, it wasn't Mustafa Akkad or whatever his name is. It was Season of the Witch. It's like, it shouldn't even be considered a Halloween movie, and that's how I feel about Godfather Part 3. Because it's not even, it's not in the top 300 movies that I can think of.
No.
And Godfather 1 and 2 are definitely, I would say, top 5.
It's actually, I feel like it's a struggle to watch Godfather Part 3.
I saw it the one time, I won't watch it again. I was like, this isn't...
I don't even think I got to the end of it. I was watching it for one of our shows. Probably in this past year, I tried to watch Godfather 3. I couldn't get through it, and I saw it at the movie theater when it came out.
I think Al Pacino actually dies, and the plan was for Andy Garcia to take over.
Ah.
But I think Mario Puzo died, so they didn't have a story for Godfather Part 4, thank God. That would have been... But I mean, the first one is number 2. I thought the second one was a lot higher than it is. But I know it's
well, it probably should be. You're right.
Yeah, it should be. I think, wow, I don't know. But no, those are 2 movies that should never be remade. Mine, when I first think of it, is Pulp Fiction. Just because it was just so groundbreaking. Like, you didn't see movies like Pulp Fiction until Pulp Fiction came out. And then you see all these other movies that try to duplicate it.
Right.
You can't.
And how could you duplicate it with, say, that cast?
Exactly. I mean, you have a cast for the ages. You have a script for the ages. I mean, the way it's just shot. Like, there's a scene where John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson at the beginning are going to kill the guy that has the suitcase or whatever. And, they're walking back and forth talking about someone that got assaulted by their boss. And the camera guy actually stays at the door, like almost impatiently as they're walking back there, like, get over here. Like, let's go, let's do this. It's just stuff that hadn't been done before. And I mean, I think to me, it might be the best script of all time. Because some of the stuff they talk about, it's just like, they're going around killing people, like, and it's just like everyday stuff, like the Royale with cheese, and I don't know, it was just so much fun.
It's the type of movie, once you turn it on, you can't
You
turn
can't
it
stop
off.
watching it.
Like
yeah.
if you were flipping channels and it was on.
Yep. It's
you-
like I've seen it 100 times. It doesn't matter. It's on.
Right.
So I'm gonna watch it. You know, it's just one of those. I mean, Reservoir Dogs. We talked about that too. Reservoir Dogs is another one. That's a tough one. Like,
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good one to remake.
No.
Wouldn't be my choice to
No.
remake that. Oh, man,
Well, what else do you have on your list?
my list is
You have a
huge.
pretty big list, yeah.
I'm looking at the top one on this, Apocalypse Now. Could you remake Apocalypse Now?
One other thing I was also thinking about when we were gonna do this was
Like criteria?
well, also the actors. Who would play Brando's character? Who would play Dennis Hopper's character? You know, I mean, who would play Martin Sheen's character?
Or Robert
Duvall. You know, I mean, that's another thing you have to factor in. Not only the fact that you want to remake this movie, but who's going to play the main characters in that movie.
And I think that's important when it comes to a lot of these movies, is that sometimes the actors made such a mark on these movies that
Absolutely.
you couldn't redo it again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you know, and I know you didn't like the movie, but Big Lebowski.
Right, yeah. Like you were
So-
talking about John Goodman.
John Goodman as
And-
well. It's not
and
just
Jeff
the
Bridges,
one guy.
right.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to say the narrator. What's his name?
Oh, Sam Elliott, too.
Sam Elliott. Yeah,
Yep.
you couldn't replace that.
Mhm.
So, and there's a lot of movies, cult movies, that are like that, where
Right, yeah.
you couldn't imagine somebody else
Right.
playing that character again.
Right, like I had mentioned Fargo. Like who would play Frances McDormand in Fargo? You know, I mean, she nailed it. You know, she won Best Actress.
Right.
William H. Macy, his character,
Well, there's a TV show, Fargo, so somebody
Right,
must
with-
have taken her place on the show.
with Billy Bob Thornton, I think, was on the TV show. But as far as a movie is concerned, like I couldn't see someone actually like replaying her character.
Right.
Because her slogan was "Oh, you betcha," you know, and she was pregnant and she was eating all the time, and I don't know. That's a movie I wouldn't want to be remade, and it shouldn't.
Let me
be
throw
remade.
you another one. JFK.
That'd be a tough one too.
Be a tough one to do. Very huge.
Look at
good
the cast. That's a cast for the ages. I mean, Stone back in the day, he was good at that. He could get like any big name to be in a movie, no matter how big or small the part was.
Yeah.
But a lot of the big names in that movie actually had pretty big parts. But I mean, John Candy has a cameo, Walter Matthau has a cameo, Jack Lemmon has a cameo. You know, so I mean, and those are all like A-list actors.
Right.
You know, and they're barely in it. But I mean, Kevin Bacon has a big role, Joe Pesci has a big role, Kevin Costner, Tommy
Gary
Lee Jones,
Oldman.
Gary Oldman. You know,
Yeah, that's a big. That's one I can't see anybody
Sissy
ever doing
Spacek.
again.
You know, that could be one of the best casts ever for a movie. I mean, that's a huge cast.
Certainly. What about? Well, I don't know. We were just talking about some of the Tarantinos. We were talking about some of the Coppola movies.
Yeah.
Oh man, my list is so huge.
I know. Let's just go through them, man, because I guarantee we're going to be able to talk about all of them. So
Well, so there's some horror movies on here. We were talking about
how they
that
remade
almost all
a lot
of them.
yeah.
But here's a couple of untouchables, or supposedly
Should be
untouchables.
untouchables.
Alien.
I
Right?
haven't seen it.
Oh.
I haven't seen any of the Alien movies.
That's one that's
I
pretty well.
should see. Who did the original?
Fuck you.
Am I too loud?
Ridley
Because
Scott.
I know Ridley Scott did one. I know,
He did the first one.
and then
James Cameron did
Cameron
the
did the
second.
second one, and then what's his face that did Gone Girl did
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name? Fincher.
Finch,
David Fincher.
Yeah.
So I mean, they had some pretty big directors directing the originals. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how many there are now. There's probably like 5 or 6 at least.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
then there's Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, all the yeah.
Who knows?
But no, I haven't seen it. But I don't know. I mean,
How about what was the other one I just saw? The Exorcist.
yeah, that should not be remade. That was that was scary.
Right?
I will admit, that's another one I probably saw when I was younger than I should to see it. But that was messed up. When she turns her head like all the way around, I mean, that is creepy.
Right.
I mean, that just looks so painful.
After you see it the first time, though, then the special effects look a little weak on that movie.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, like 76?
Oh, even earlier.
Might even earlier, like 71,
I think it was 72,
72.
73, something
You know,
like
so
that.
I mean, we're talking 40 plus years.
How about Rosemary's Baby?
I think I mentioned that last week. You can't remake
No,
remake
that's
that.
not a remakeable movie.
The end of that movie is just so creepy. I mean, it's like I didn't know what to expect, and I honestly I didn't expect. I mean, that's got to be 50 years now. I think that came out in '68. You know, so it's like 51 years old now, and still,
Right.
it's like I've only seen it a couple times, but it still just kind of weirds me out how that movie ends. But I agree. Just don't remake it.
Don't
just
touch those.
Don't leave it alone.
Well, we said that because one of the ones that they touched that they shouldn't have was Psycho
Well, and The Omen.
and The Omen.
And The Omen. I mean, I saw the. I haven't.
Ridiculous.
I didn't dare watch the remake of The Omen. I just thought it was stupid to remake it to begin with. But Psycho was terrible.
What about? I'm sure it's on the list. I don't necessarily think I would put it on this list. The Shining. Some people feel like that. You know what's funny? People either love that movie
Or they don't
Or
like
you
it at
don't.
all. Yeah.
and I've seen it multiple times.
You're kind of on the
There's
fence, aren't
something
you?
wrong with
Yeah.
that movie. There's something wrong with it. I can't put my
See,
finger
I
on it.
loved it. I thought Jack Nicholson was great. I thought the story was great, and I mean, I don't know. I guess just the isolation part, I would say, is the one thing I didn't really like about it, because there's really, I mean, it's really just the three of them, and then the one, what is he, like the chef or the cook or whatever, and he
Right.
gets killed like halfway through the movie. So I mean, it's not. I mean, they have the one scene where he's going nuts and the ballroom's filled or whatever, but other than that, there's not really a lot of people in it. But I liked it. I mean, I think did they make that into like a TV series?
They did. They redid it as
Yeah.
a TV series. So, you know, this like I said, some people think that's you can't remake that because you can't remake it with Jack Nicholson, who puts a stamp on
Oh yeah, absolutely.
his parts. And I'm not seeing too many other ones because they've remade so many of the classic horror movies.
I mean, while we're talking about Jack Nicholson, one that I thought of was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I
Certainly.
mean, who would you have play that character? You know, it's like,
And the supporting cast that went along with
oh
that.
yeah, like Danny DeVito, Christopher Lloyd, Chief, Brad Dourif, and even
The nurse.
Nurse Ratched. I mean, what has she done since that? Louise Fletcher, she won Best Actress, and I mean, there's a lot of people that you see that when they win an Oscar, their careers take off.
Right.
And then there's people that win an Oscar, and you're like, whatever happened to this person? Like, after Cuba Gooding Jr. won for Jerry Maguire, how big was he? How big was Mira Sorvino after winning for Mighty Aphrodite?
Yeah.
You know?
Did something like that, did that have to do with that whole scandal with what's his face?
No, but we're talking, I mean, she won in like,
Wine.
she won in like 24, or 94. You know, I mean, like, 5 years after that, what was she in? At that time, I think she was in The Replacement Killers with Jackie Chan, and she was in Summer of Sam with John Leguizamo. I think those are the only two big roles she had. And what's she been in since?
Well, I think, didn't Weinstein have something to do with that?
Yeah, but I mean, that was like 2017.
Yeah.
I'm talking like she won in 94. How come she didn't like skyrocket and like get all these big offers?
You're
like
right.
Angelina Jolie did when she won for, it's called Girl Interrupted, when she made out with her brother. That was kind of creepy. But I mean, all of a sudden she's Tomb Raider, she's here, she's there, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you know? But like Cuba Gooding Jr. did a lot of like B-rate movies.
Right.
He wasn't really in anything big, you know, and that's where I'm going at with Louise Fletcher. Is what was she in?
She
Like-
wasn't in much. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Flowers in the Attic. That's the only movie she did
Oh,
after, that I remember after that.
That's a good movie. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I have tons of
Yeah,
Shawshank
keep
Redemption.
going. Nope.
Which was for a long time, it was rated as #1 on IMDb.
Yep. Absolutely, positively cannot. You can't. I mean, I don't even care if you can find the actors or whatever. Just the story. That movie is magnificent. That's, like I said, I mean, that might be my top 5. That might be my top 5. It's tough because my top 5 consists of like 30 movies. So,
Right.
because it's just so hard. I mean, I love movies, you know, but no, I mean, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman are both great in that, but I can see other actors playing that. I don't want it to be done. You know, it's like, because it's such a good story, and that's the director. He also did The Green Mile.
Frank Darabont.
Frank Darabont, yes, and I think he did what's the show with all the? I can't think of it. Anyway,
TV show?
Yeah, The Walking Dead. I think he did The Walking Dead.
Oh, Star Wars. How do you redo the original Star Wars?
Should have stopped at Return of the Jedi.
Right.
I saw the next three, episode 1, 2, and 3. They were all crap. Jar Jar Binks is a waste of space, and I haven't seen any since.
It's like that's like an iconic movie. Well, we said Pulp Fiction, 2001, A Space Odyssey.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies. It's a me thing. It's not the movie itself. It's just I don't have the patience because it's such a long introduction into the movie before any real action happens. And I saw it the one time and it just wasn't for me.
I think I got to go back and read like a critique of it because maybe I'm thick. I don't get it. I don't understand that movie. Citizen Kane. Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I can't see someone else playing Forrest Gump.
Yeah, how could you do it?
I can. Citizen Kane, I almost want that to be remade, in a way.
Really?
I do, just because I mean, that's considered, I mean, it's number one on this list, AFI's Top 100.
Right.
You know, it came out and I don't remember what year it was, but it was revised. So it came out in 97 and then it was revised at the 10-year anniversary in 2007. And it remained the number one movie of all time. And I think a lot of it is because, you know, the camera work and just the storytelling and stuff. But I would like to see that remade. Just because with the technology there is now,
Yeah.
with what they did, I mean, that was 1941. You know, so we're almost 80 years. You know, I don't know. I just think, I think it'd be interesting to see. I don't think they could duplicate it, obviously. But I think it would be interesting to see a movie that's, like, considered the best of all time. Let's see what Spielberg can do with it.
All right, here's another one that's in that same kind of class. Gone with the Wind. Somebody remaking Gone with the Wind
You'd be
with the
ballsy.
same actors.
You'd be ballsy to.
Yeah, you have to go way out on a limb for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to be pretty ballsy to do Citizen Kane, but still, Gone with the Wind, yeah, that's like an American masterpiece, as is Citizen Kane.
Taxi Driver.
That's a tough one because of the actor. I mean, that's
And some of the supporting ones, right? Jodie Foster,
Jodie Foster.
Harvey Keitel, Sybil
yeah.
Shepherd. It's a hard
I always
one.
forget Sybil Shepherd's in that. Jodie Foster's young in that. She's
Right.
really young in that. But just replacing De Niro, I mean,
Yeah, can't.
who can do that?
It's not that movie.
No, I mean, like Mean Streets. I'm a bigger fan of Mean Streets than I am of Taxi Driver, and he's like a loose cannon in Mean Streets. You know, it's like I don't know. I wouldn't want to try to reprise that role. You know.
Yeah. Here's one. Another words we're talking character. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. How could you ever redo it again?
They did a TV show on that.
Did they?
When I was younger, like I was probably in elementary school, and it was awful. It was right out because that was a big hit when it came out. I think it came out in '86, and I don't know.
How could you redo it? He has such charm.
Yeah.
He's the guy
Yeah.
that everybody wants to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
And he did it perfectly.
And he was fun. You
He
know,
was. He was
He had
great.
his day, and he did whatever he wanted, and he got away with it.
I don't know if you could have another actor do that and be that appealing the way he was.
Right, and I'm
Because
not.
I think you would see it and you go like, nah, I don't really like that guy. There'd be something about whoever it is that's off.
Yeah.
And he did it. He did it
Yeah,
perfectly.
exactly.
And he'll live as Ferris Bueller forever.
And I'm not a huge Matthew Broderick fan,
No, me either.
but he is Ferris Bueller without question. You know, I mean, you can't argue that. What about the Wizard of Oz?
They've tried.
Didn't they try?
Oh,
Did they do
yeah.
like the Return of Oz or something like that?
They've tried. Somebody did a mini series. The library has it, and I watched it. Nope. Can't redo it.
Yeah, just don't. Just don't.
It's iconic. Which, along those lines, right? Because that's kind of a musical. Is "Singing in the Rain," which is regarded as one of the best film musicals ever.
Of all time, right?
Gene Kelly,
Yep, and Ginger Rogers, or
Gigi-
Gigi Rogers, whatever her name was.
Ginger Rogers.
Ginger
Yeah.
Rogers,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a tough one. Donald O'Connor. That's a hard movie to redo again. You wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think. I think you'd be foolish to try.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the whole point of the show is just don't. You know, it's like we were talking about last week. It's like, what Spielberg movie would you actually try to remake?
None. That once you said it, and I
It's
thought about that, I
like
was like, wow, you can't really.
You gotta have stones to try to take on a I mean, you got Schindler's List. Anybody touching that? Nobody
Jaws.
ever touched Saving Private Ryan. Ever. I mean, that is no, you can't.
Jaws.
Jaws,
Even some of the early
E-
ones. Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
E.T. You can't ever make remake E.T. I mean, E.T.'s dead anyway, right? He's got to be now. That came out in '82.
Yeah,
he's got
he's
to be dead
pretty
by
old.
now. All right, what else you got on there?
Oh, there's tons of stuff.
I see Dead Poets Society.
Dead
Did you
which
watch it?
No, I still have your copy.
Still
and I
haven't
watched
watched it. Did you watch Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, I'm trying to get my son.
I'm gonna grill you on what.
I got involved in a television show. So what happened was I had this television series, and that's what we were putting our time into. And then, I might watch one tonight. And then tomorrow night, Green Book is playing in town.
Yes.
So I might try to go see Green Book.
Yep.
Because I'd really like to see it won Best Picture.
What about A Quiet Place?
I haven't seen it yet.
No,
I will.
I'm just messing with you. No
Uh,
rush.
So I'm trying to look at some of the
But
other-
Dead Poets Society is a good movie. I don't really want to talk about it because you haven't seen it. But it's yeah, that's a tough one, right?
Rocky.
You can't. No.
No, you can't touch it.
No. No, absolutely
How about
not.
the first one, First Blood? The first
Oh,
of the
Rambo?
Rambos. Could you? You can't redo.
I just can't see someone else playing that character.
No.
You know, I mean, I would say more Rocky than Rambo. But I mean, could you imagine someone else trying to play Rocky?
How about Dirty Harry?
No. No, don't take on Clint.
Right?
Don't take on Clint Eastwood.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Some of these are. How about Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I feel like they have remade that. Haven't they?
Somebody remade it.
I think they have. I think it was
Oh.
a complete disaster.
A disaster.
Because isn't that like Jack Nicholson and Rick Moranis?
That redid it? No, that's
No,
the.
isn't that the original? or-
That's the Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, okay.
Rocky Horror Picture Show is
Okay, I think
Tim Curry.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that.
Oh,
I've seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show and not.
Susan Sarandon,
the Little Shop of
Tim
Horrors.
Curry. He plays Dr. Frankenfurter.
No, I haven't seen that.
He's a sweet transvestite from Transylvania. That would be hard to redo that one. I mean, Tim Curry, that was it. It's like his masterpiece. He will live as Dr. Frankenfurter. Breakfast Club.
You know, I was thinking about that this afternoon on my way here. How many of the Brat Pack movies shouldn't be remade? Because I was thinking St. Elmo's Fire as well. I mean, I don't know. I think it has meaning to people. Like it's, you know, like the ultimate coming of age movies.
Right.
You know, with the Breakfast Club, they're in high school still, and then St. Elmo's Fire, they all just graduated college. So it's almost like a story in itself, where you go from the Breakfast Club to St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of the it's not the entire same cast, but it's a lot of the same cast. And yeah, I don't want to see them remade. You know, they're just, you know, they're things that I remember from my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, that's something that when I think of the Breakfast Club, I want to think of Emilio Estevez. I want to think of Judd Nelson pumping his arm and hearing the song at the end, you know? I mean, that's the Breakfast Club. Don't mess with it, you know?
How about Christmas movies? How about
You can't touch
It's a Wonderful
You can't
Life?
touch Home Alone, first of all. Leave Home Alone alone.
That wasn't even on my list.
That's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Colin agrees. Do not mess with it. It's just Joe Pesci's great, Daniel Stern. I mean Macaulay Culkin. They're all great. Just leave it alone. It's a Wonderful Life. You shouldn't. It's an iconic movie. I mean that's the ultimate when people. You know it's gonna play like the Saturday before Christmas every year on like NBC or ABC. Every single year, like 8 o'clock that Saturday night, it's gonna be on. It's gonna be like 3 hours.
I just watched it again this year.
It's a classic.
It's untouchable.
It
It's
is. It's a
an
classic.
untouchable movie. How about A Christmas Story? Want to get a rifle?
I hate that.
You're
movie.
gonna shoot your eye
I
out.
hate that movie. But it shouldn't be remade.
Yeah.
You're right. No, I just hate the fact that it's on 24/7 for like 2 days now. I think it is. I think it's all Christmas Eve and all Christmas Day now on TBS and TNT.
Oh,
You know,
on
because
2 channels.
yes, they take up 2 channels for 48 hours,
Wow.
and it's like why?
Here's another Christmas movie, Die Hard. No, we're goofing on that as a Christmas movie.
It really is considered by a lot of people
I
a
know.
Christmas movie
It's on
because
all
it
the
takes
lists.
place at Christmas. But no, you can't redo it. Who
No.
Who would say Yippee Ki Yay Mother? Who says it better than freaking Bruce Willis? Nobody. You know, he's such a lovable. I mean, that's another one though that I wish that they had stopped. Like they went too far. I mean, the one I think it was a Good Day to Die Hard was the last one where his son he has to like go overseas and his son's like in trouble, but he's not. He's really undercover. It was terrible. I
Bad.
saw it in the movie theater and it tanked really bad.
I just know that first one. It might be my all-time favorite action movie. I love the Die Hard
It's
movie
fun.
is just great.
Him and the dad from Family Matters. You know, and
That's-
obviously Alan Ruckman.
Now, yeah,
Great
exactly.
actor. He was a great actor. He died too young. That's too bad. He was great in Dogma. I don't know if you saw Dogma or not, but he plays the voice of God in Dogma. You should watch Dogma. Dogma's fun.
How about Seven?
That's a tough one.
Could you see that one being remade?
I don't think so.
No,
It's just it's so
because your bad guy is Kevin Spacey.
Like-
Or I shouldn't say that. I
yeah.
shouldn't
We
say it in case you
can't
haven't seen
remake it because of Kevin Spacey.
But yeah, I mean, he's the villain, and he's.
But there's I would say there's a lot of movies that it's dark from start to finish. There's no happy moments in Seven. I mean, I guess you could say when they're joking around when they have Morgan Freeman over for dinner and they're all drinking wine.
That's I was thinking of that. Yeah.
That may be the only like 45 seconds to a minute of happiness in that entire movie. The rest of it is complete dark. I mean, you like start the movie, there's a murder, you find out, and it just escalates. You know, and it just gets darker and darker and more mysterious.
Here's another one along the same lines.
Outstanding movie though.
Here's a movie I consider almost nearly perfect. I can't imagine why you would even want to touch it. Silence of the Lambs. Why would you want to fool with that one?
It was
Ever.
so good they had to remake Manhunter as Red Dragon just because they wanted Anthony Hopkins because he was so good as Hannibal Lecter. Absolutely phenomenal. Oh, Alex is
Oh,
coming in.
I thought he was coming to comment on that.
I'm joining in on the
He's coming in to yell at us.
Oh,
Grab a stool. Grab a stool. Grab a stool. I'll move over.
He heard me say Silence of the Lambs.
I mean,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I thought,
Let the slide in here.
what's his face? Brian Cox was great in Manhunter.
yeah.
But Anthony Hopkins, absolutely, like, what? Name another role he's done that you can compare to Hannibal Lecter. Nothing.
I
Nothing.
have a hard time. Yeah,
Nothing.
coming up
I mean,
with- coming
he's
up with
been
Anthony
nominated.
Hopkins.
He's been nominated for other Oscars for other roles. I think like Remains of the Day, Howard's End, but you can't compare his role as Hannibal Lecter to anything else he's ever done. He absolutely killed that performance. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's he killed the performance, and,
mean-
and it's amazing. But I think I think any movie can be remade for better.
No, I think it can be remade.
Just think about all the songs.
no.
the covers that songs.
The
people
argument
do.
is it shouldn't be remade.
Okay, but I think you can remake it.
You can, but
Just
you
think about it,
shouldn't.
the right actor comes in there and
You just
remake and gives you. A,
shouldn't though. It's just leave it alone.
so what did they
It's-
say about Shakespeare the first time that came out? They said, "No, you shouldn't remake Hamlet in the old grubby, theater in New England." And
Hey,
how many versions of Hamlet do we have that? Are
This
like,
is
"Oh, I like,
this is just
I
our
like Kenneth
this
Branagh's
is just
version
our
of Hamlet."
opinion. That's all. I mean, to me, Silence of the Lambs is pretty much perfection.
Yeah,
Leave it alone.
yeah, it's close.
Just don't bother. Why even attempt? Why even
Because
attempt?
people die, so you're dead, and then there's going to be a newer generation that wants to see their version of Silence of the
Well,
Lambs.
if they want to do it when I'm dead, do whatever you want. But I'm
May-
saying right now, leave it alone.
Maybe you're 7 years old and you can't even remember the original version, and you need a little refresher.
All right. Well, if you were to look at a movie that you would say should not be remade, what comes to mind for you?
None.
None.
No.
They all could be remade.
I think you can I think because I think the film business needs to be revitalized in some way, because obviously people aren't going to the theater as much, and the only thing that's playing now are
Remakes and sequels and superhero movies.
it's like remakes of superhero movies
Yeah.
and sequels,
Yeah.
and that's all there is.
Exactly.
So it would be nice to see someone's version. No, it doesn't have. It's not going to be like the original classic version of Silence of the Lambs, but it would be nice for someone to have the conads to be able to take it and like do their own version of it. Maybe it's not as dark. Maybe it's lighter. Maybe it's got like a totally tripped out edge to it. Who knows? Just think about like remakes of like classic songs, like Billie Jean. You got Michael Jackson's version. You got what's his name's version. What's that guy? Chris Cornell's version.
Colin's all excited now.
Just-
He's actually paid attention this week.
Just think of like Sound of Silence. Like someone could say, "Oh, well, someone should never redo Sound of Silence with Simon and Garfunkel." And
No, the remake was actually
so
good at that.
someone
yeah.
did a remake
Yeah.
and did a version.
Who was it, Colin?
And totally
The Verb? Who?
stained. No, not
Disturbed.
Stained. Disturbed. Sorry. And they gave you a new perspective. So it's just kind of like theater. It's like taking the content, We're all talking about films that are excellent written films. I mean, these are what most of these films have. Some of the films maybe are tough to remake, like Home Alone, because I'm sure. Well, that's John Hughes, so he always had good scripts. So, I mean, if, the ones that shouldn't be remade are the ones with really crummy scripts.
Well, we haven't hit on that yet.
Yeah,
because
but
that's a whole other topic.
Ones with like really good scripts, it's kind of like theater. Like theater's so easy. All you have to do is like technically, and you already have the Tony Award-winning musical.
Right.
You already have the award-winning play. The words are already written down there, so
Right.
half the job's already done. Like half of the movies, the script is like subpar, and then you bring in actors and you bring in the right director, and it raises it up to a certain level. Those are films that win Best Picture.
Right, but it's also
don't win Best
it's also
Screenplay.
nice to have original ideas too.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
stop remaking stuff all the time and
what's-
come up with some new stuff.
Well, what's original?
That's what I'm saying.
You
Hollywood
think
doesn't have anything
You think
original.
Silence of the Lambs is original?
No, but I mean,
it's
it's
a
based
copy of-
based off a book.
Yeah, I mean, there's some originality to it, but it's a copy of a copy. Like
Right, but
some
what I'm
guy-
saying is don't remake it again. Don't do another one. Come up with something else. Come up with another serial
Well,
killer. Come up
I
with
would love
anything
to
else.
see someone's version, even if it's crummy, or like just to see if an amazing version comes out that's just as good as the original. It's kind of like when someone covers a song. That's always the interesting part. I wouldn't go see a cover band that just plays, like Bring Out the Lead. I went to go see them, and everyone's like, "Oh, they sound just like the CD, man." Well, why don't I just buy the CD? I don't
Exactly, and save the money.
I'm going to see. I'm not. I would go see see Led Zeppelin to see Led Zeppelin. I'm seeing Bring Out the Lead because I want to see Bring Out the Lead's version of Led Zeppelin, and give me a different experience. It would be the same thing, with the movies. Like, all right, this is how Silence of the Lambs is done. Let me see a different version, a different view of
See,
that.
I don't know. I think some of these, like he's got the Deer Hunter right here. Have you seen
Oh,
the
that
Deer
could be
Hunter?
remade. It could
But
be.
it shouldn't be. Christopher Walken's portrayal in that movie, I mean, he just freaking kills it.
His performance does, but
Yeah.
there could be another actor that kills it too.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
how many
but
theater
why?
actors
But
kill?
why?
How many theater
Why
actors?
would you want to mess with it though?
But how many theater actors killed Hamlet after what 600 years?
Well,
Over
Hamlet's,
and over
Hamlet's
again.
one of those ones
Or
that's
did you
just going to be remade to death.
Did you
That's going to be remade
Did you
again
see
in
Kenneth
5
Branagh's
years.
version of Hamlet? Did you see Orson Welles' version of
No,
Hamlet?
that's-
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That's
It's the
just-
same script, but every time.
Yeah,
There's
but
nothing.
let me give you an example of one
Yeah.
that's really hard to replete. Okay,
Yeah.
is Streetcar Named Desire. Marlon Brando played it on Broadway. They tapped him for the movie, and nobody's ever been able to touch it again. And you can look it up. People have remade it. I think
They have remade it,
Treat
yeah.
Williams did it. I saw Alec Baldwin do it on
Yeah.
Broadway. All it is, it's an imitation of Marlon Brando.
Playing
It's not right.
Stanley
Yeah, 'cause
Kowalski. That's
nobody-
like a classic
Nobody's
character.
doing anything original. They're not taking, they're just not forgetting the original performance and just looking at it from a different perspective. But did this play itself, the written word, win any awards, or was it just Streetcar Named Desire? Did that win awards?
I don't think the
Oh, I bet it did.
I don't think-
probably could have won Tony Awards.
I don't think the original movie won anything though.
Well, I meant like for
He
for
really?
Yeah, he didn't. I know he didn't win
What's
for
the
it.
award for playwright? If they consider a play like an amazing play that was written, like just a written word, not the performance added to it.
I don't know what would they call it.
What, the Tony Award you mean for best like
I don't
movie
know,
or
I'm not
whatever?
I'm not in the theater world, whatever.
No,
Someone-
I'm not either.
Someone in the theater world can tell me that. But anyways, I would, yes, no one's been able to touch it because nobody's been able to view the content
So you-
from a different perspective.
So there's not something that's like sacred to your heart that you would say like because for me a perfect example
Well,
was
we-
Point Break. They redid Point Break as like a
And shouldn't have.
no, they just shouldn't have.
Well, they redid it in the wrong way.
Well, they did it. Well, they shouldn't have redone it to begin with. Period.
What? The movie was okay. It could be better.
The original, I haven't even seen it. I won't watch it. The original Point Break is just one of those cold classic movies. You know, I mean, Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves. I mean,
Right.
Keanu Reeves can't act to save his life, but he didn't really have to in this movie.
Well, I wouldn't be so hard on Keanu Reeves.
He's a terrible actor.
He's
might
on
be,
The Matrix.
He
What,
might
what do
be.
you mean, what kind of acting do you want? Like, if you want an actor who's gonna like do all the stunts and like sort of like silent acting, he's good at silent acting. But when he starts speaking,
Well, that's the thing.
yeah,
It's like anything where he has
but
to
there's-
actually talk. Like, have you seen Street Kings? He's absolutely awful in Street Kings. But I like the movie
Okay,
because
but-
Forrest Whitaker's in it. The guy Hugh Laurie from House, Chris Evans. You know, it's got a good cast other than him, but he's the lead.
I would say Keanu Reeves is a great silent actor, and any action film. That's the type of actor I want to see. Yeah, when it comes to like dialogue and getting into I mean, I think he gets into the character through his physicality, but when it comes to maybe the spoken word, it's a little tough for him. But how would Charlie Chaplin perform if he had to speak? I mean,
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. I
would-
understand what you're
I
saying.
would give
but-
Keanu credit for silent acting. I mean, hell, they gave Leonardo DiCaprio Best Actor for his silent acting in The Revenant, which was him getting basically molested by a bear and like grunting.
Well, what about
I mean, that was basically the whole film.
What about the guy from like Jean whatever from The Artist? That was a silent movie, and he won Best Actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you pull that off? I mean, how are you?
It's,
I don't know. I don't get it.
It's called acting. It's acting out. I mean, it's physically moving your body to create that performance. So sometimes
And
it's-
eyes, and it's the
you don't
whole-
have to talk to be a good actor.
All right, so I completely tanked it
Yeah.
on A Streetcar Named Desire. It won 4 Oscars. It won Best Actress in a Leading Role for Vivian Lee. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Carl Malden. Best Actress in the Supporting Role, Kim Hunter. In Best Art Direction.
But it didn't win best.
No,
screenplay.
Brando didn't win. I knew Brando didn't win.
But it didn't win best screenplay.
Yeah.
No.
So that's got to be pretty funny because
it was
if you
not-
looked it up, like I'd be amazed to see like who won Best Actor over Marlon Brando. It would have to be ridiculous.
So it was nominated
What's the
for
year?
52 Oscars. It came out in 51, but it was the 52 year. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Marlon Brando. Best Director, I didn't realize that was Elia Kazan.
1952.
Best Writing, Screenplay, Tennessee Williams. Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Sound, Best Music. Yeah, so I was way off on that. So I won 3. It actually won 4 pretty big Oscars.
Cool.
So, I mean, it got an 8.0 on IMDb,
Yeah.
which I think might be a little low.
But
I liked it.
How
Yeah.
would this surprise you? I don't think Marlon Brando is that great of an actor.
I would no. I disagree 100%. We were actually
I've seen.
we
all-
were actually going
I've
to talk
seen all
about
of his films, and he's pretty much he's kind of a ham. Come
no,
on.
no. He's
He's
one of the
not
best
that good of an
actors that
actor.
ever lived.
No, it's-
One of the best actors that ever lived.
He's-
I mean, I put him up there.
He's able to gain weight and shave his head.
I think Jack Nicholson's up there.
Jack Nicholson's
I
up there.
think
He's another
Brando's
guy.
up there.
I don't like Brando. He sucks.
I think De Niro's up there. I think Pacino's a little overrated. I don't think he's in their league necessarily.
I would have said that if I hadn't just watched Scarface.
Oh yeah, you said you liked it better than when you
I
first
like
watched
him.
it.
Yeah.
I like him in
Well,
the
it
movie.
was-
I
In
don't really like the
Scarface, you don't like the
itself.
movie, you like the performance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I still don't think he's like. I look at De Niro. I look at movies like Mean Streets. I look at The Godfather Part 2. I look at The Taxi Driver. I look at Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino. I mean, he has so many iconic roles. When I look at Pacino, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's not really the movie in The Godfather. Even The Godfather Part 2, because I think there's just so many strong characters in those movies that he just falls in line with everyone else. I mean, he
Yeah.
kills it in Dog Day Afternoon. He does kill it in Scarface. He got his Lifetime Achievement Award in friggin'
Serpico, he was good in.
Serpico, yep.
Yeah.
His Lifetime Achievement Award for friggin' Scent of a Woman.
Yeah. Scent of a Woman would have to
They
be.
they had to give him an Oscar at some point. There
That was
wasn't
his
really
worst-
a favorite that year, so.
Yeah, that was it wasn't his worst film, but it wasn't his best performance.
You know what's a one that a lot of people don't talk about? Sea of Love
Right.
is actually a pretty good movie with him and John Goodman, Michael Rooker, Ellen Barkin. You didn't like that movie?
I'm gonna fall asleep right now just
Really?
talking about it.
Just
Yeah.
talking.
Did you like it?
I did, yeah.
I thought it was a really good movie.
How about I liked him in Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco. That's the one Johnny Depp movie I like. And he kills it in Donnie Brasco.
Yeah.
I love it how he gives them the money at Christmas time. You know, they give each other the same amount of money, and then he's like, hey, can I borrow like however much money? You know, he's like,
That
and he just
movie's
gives them the
alright.
whole stack, you know.
So what else you got on your list here?
What other ones are untouchables?
Untouchables?
Yeah, some of these, well, all right, Cuckoo's Nest. I'm trying to think of some of these. Requiem for a Dream.
Ugh.
Can't be remade.
Shouldn't be. Right?
Right?
God, that movie. I mean, it's don't get me wrong. That's a good movie. It's just so traumatizing. There aren't many movies where you, when you're done with when you're done with the movie, you're like, nothing good came of that movie for any of the four
I would have to
characters.
say it was the feel-good movie of the year.
Yeah.
That's the type of movie you watch, and after you feel like, I feel good about life.
Yes, I feel good about myself.
And I feel good about myself.
Yes, because I didn't end up like any one of those junkies.
Just kidding. If you guys haven't seen Requiem for a Dream, it's a whole dark trip into drug use.
It's Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
Just to warn you.
You don't really feel good about yourself after you watch that movie.
No,
But at least watch it for its artistic.
it's worth watching once. I
Yeah.
would say that.
Yeah, for the visuals,
Yep,
for the camera
absolutely.
work, with the way the direction's
Yep.
gone. Yeah.
I just
Pretty
said, I was
decent.
gonna bring up.
Another Aronofsky one, not necessarily not remake or whatever, but what's it called? Black Swan. Have you seen that?
Uh-huh.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen Black Swan.
I mean, 15
That's
minutes
dark.
into that movie, you're like, oh, this is Aronofsky. You wouldn't have to know.
Oh yeah.
Like, just watching it, you're like, wow, this
Yeah.
is another one, not a happy ending. I'm not even sure with the ending of that. It's just
well, his most the film that's his lightest film is The Wrestler.
yeah, that's. I mean, still not a happy movie, but that's a
That was
lot
good
more.
film. There was some sort of like
like there's-
resolution.
Yeah, yeah.
with the main
There's,
character.
it's like almost a happy movie as far as
yeah,
Aronofsky
reconnect
is concerned.
with yeah, exactly.
How about this? This came up on several lists. Back to the Future.
Absolutely remake that crap.
I honestly wouldn't
I mean,
care.
the film is great. I think it's a
I-
classic. That
I wouldn't care.
film is.
I didn't like it.
Well, I
So-
thought that film was great, man. I loved it
I
as a
didn't.
kid. But
I didn't.
it's great for that time being. But I would love to see a different version of that. But not a crappy Hollywood version of it. I'd like to see.
An Alex Stradling version of
Well,
it.
I'd like to see a version, that has, just has a slightly different flavor, a different take to it, something that you haven't
I-
seen before.
It wouldn't bother me either way. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't really care for it. I mean, when they went to the Wild West in part 3, I was like, all right, guys, enough's enough.
Well, the
Just stop.
The third one sucks. The first one,
But even the second one wasn't bad.
it wasn't that great.
But I don't care for them.
Yeah.
What else you got on here?
Which one did I just say? I have a ton of these movies.
I know. Let's go through
How
some
about
more.
Animal House?
It's been remade hundreds of times under different titles.
Oh, yeah.
American Pie.
American Pie,
Whatever,
exactly.
Whatever nerds.
But it shouldn't be. Because that's like an American classic.
Right.
That's like that and Caddyshack
Yeah,
are
but it
like
could
the
be funnier.
the two absolutely classic comedies of all time.
Caddyshack.
Are Animal House and Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When I was doing the comedies, I went back and looked at all the great comedies, and some of them. I
Are
mean, once
rip-offs?
you've seen them,
You seen them
they
all?
don't hold up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I remember-
Caddyshack, outside of a couple of
Caddyshack does.
scenes. I mean, let's put it this way. Rodney Dangerfield, choose the scenery. He is excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
He's hilarious in
Yeah.
that movie. But the rest of it, I mean, and Bill Murray has.
I mean,
his
Bill
couple
Murray,
of
where
scenes
he's
too.
where he's washing the balls, and you think he's doing something else. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an iconic scene.
Yeah.
Like,
But there's some other parts of it that don't hold up really in the long haul, and that's with a lot of these comedy movies. They're just kind of like
you know, I don't know where it just came to me, but what about The Graduate?
The Graduate. Yeah, that's on here.
I don't know if I
That's
saw it
another
on a
one.
list or not, but it just came into my head. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Agreed. Cannot remake that movie.
Yeah.
You're the one that.
What are you talking about? That was a remake of something.
Well,
I'm
Butch
sure there's a
Cassidy
1940s, a
I'm
1950s.
sure.
That's what I said at the beginning of the show.
I'm sure.
They changed the name and they put it
Yeah.
into space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, that could be remade. It's been remade.
But you don't want it to be remade.
What do you call? What's the movie that Oliver Stone wrote? That was the '90s version.
Natural Born.
Oh,
Killers.
Natural Born
That's
Killers.
Bonnie and Clyde. That's the '90s.
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
It's the same movie.
Yeah.
Just put a different title on it.
I mean, that's not the same movie though. I mean, it's different. Oliver Stone always puts
Do
his.
they both die at the end?
No, they kill Robert Downey Jr. at
Oh
the
yeah,
end.
that's right. But it has
So
a
they
twist.
don't-
But it's
yeah.
the same. Two characters, two criminals come together and they go on a little melee.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Commenting on society. through these
Yep.
criminals.
I never really looked at it like that, but yeah,
It's the
there's
same
definitely a lot of similarities. The ending is different, but yeah,
Well, they say there's only 13 stories. There's
and
only
everything's based off of
Yeah.
one way or
13
another.
main stories. So, I mean, pretty much everything's a copy of a
I mean,
copy.
I don't know. I mean, Pulp Fiction, I feel, is just completely original. Like, what would you say that
No,
was
it's a
based?
rip-off of every 70s film.
I don't think so.
That's what he did it. He wanted to do a melange of all of his
Like a montage of everything.
all of his
you're
favorite
saying,
70s.
but
films.
it's not a rip off of one. It's like everything.
Oh no, it's just
just
copying
everything.
stuff and turning it into something new. That's
But
what
it's
art's
still
about.
it's
Art's
still
about-
different the way he shot the movie, the way he edited the movie, the dialogue in the movie. I mean, it's still different than other.
because it
things.
has many different pieces. Yeah, it feels differently. But
It is different
yeah,
because
originality
the
comes
way it
from-
was put together is different than
Okay,
any other movie.
But nothing. There's no original idea.
But it's still different than anything that had been before it because of the way he pieced it together.
okay. But the creative process. There's nothing original about the creative process.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not arguing that, but what I'm saying is what makes it different is just
Is
how it was
all
pieced together.
You take all your influences and all the things that you like, and you filter it through yourself, and then maybe something original comes out. So I don't believe in like brilliance of just a spark of originality. I mean that's just horseshit.
Okay,
I mean, it's-
I disagree.
It's
but
like no, it's just different experiences, different taste, and those you're translating that differently. But you're always copying and trying to emulate something that you enjoy, and that's that variance between what you're trying to copy.
do you think what he's saying is
those
BS too,
influences.
or no?
I don't know. I'm trying to think about it in the context of what you said before about like Shakespeare. So Shakespeare had, I don't know, I'm trying to think, say 21. He had 21 plays,
Yeah,
right? Which have been redone over and
Over and
over
over.
again.
To
Years
absolute death. Yes.
to death. Yes.
Could somebody take one, and you brought up Hamlet, could somebody take one if you had filmed them all, if they were films instead of stage plays, right? Could you take one and say like, okay, Hamlet can never be redone again after Laurence Olivier did it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. I mean,
I don't-
that's a tough
Are you
call.
going to deny every actor their opportunity to play Hamlet?
Because what if you were a great director
Not
or a
saying-
great actor, you had a tour de force guy, a guy that you said, oh my God, he's the actor of this generation. We're
Yeah.
going to challenge.
Let him do Hamlet.
We're going to pair the great director, the great
Yeah.
actor together, and we're going to do Hamlet.
Yeah. So, and that would be the same with maybe the Silence of the Lambs. So you got this amazing actor, and you want to see their version of Silence of the Lambs.
I don't know. See, I think
My issue is not that someone can do it or shouldn't do it, but I don't want them to do it because leave good enough alone. You know,
But you don't own the rights.
I don't own the rights. This is just my opinion,
Yeah,
but
no,
it's
because you
agree.
could only come up short.
exactly.
I
I
don't
don't.
think so.
I
You
don't
couldn't do
want.
better. You
I
think
don't,
it could be done better?
I don't think
Just
someone
give me
can do it better than
my
Anthony
example of
Hopkins,
your
and I don't
favorite
want them to
cover-
try it.
Your favorite cover song that's been changed. Like, how many people said, "Oh, no one should ever touch Sound of Silence" by Silence because it was a time, it was a moment, it was a song, and somebody did it.
See, I don't care as
Yeah.
much about that though because I'm not a music
Because the,
person, so I
the
don't really care.
crummy ones are just gonna fall. No one's gonna care. But the one that rises up to the top, that's
Right,
the
you're
good
right.
remake, you'll
Yeah.
notice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, I agree. Maybe I would say these are the harder ones to try to remake.
What
But
about
you know what I say? Like to use the metaphor of the songs, right? The thing that I always say about music too, when somebody redoes a song, is I don't want to hear somebody just redo it the same way again.
Right,
I
try
want
to
to
up-
see
try
if somebody
to
can
up it.
take it and put,
their spin on it?
put a
Like-
spin on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Then I think it's a little bit admirable. And I
Yeah.
know, and I've heard the version of Sound of Silence too.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. You know, they did a good job.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
But it like goes
Yeah.
along the lines of what he was saying with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's not that someone else could do it or not do it. I don't want him to do it because he just nails it.
But what
He's
about
just
Mary
nailed it.
Bueller's Day Off? Come on.
It
Why,
won't-
why do guys get to have
Well,
fun
no,
and take
she-
the day off? Why
That's
can't
true.
Why can't we turn it into a
she
female?
can, she
version
can do
of
a
that?
movie if she wants.
Well, they just redid Ghostbusters,
I
which
know,
was kind of
well,
an iconic movie.
With their spin was it just to make it all females, which was
See, my argument with Ghostbusters too is that I didn't like it, so I didn't care.
You didn't like Ghostbusters?
I didn't like the original Ghostbusters.
Oh wow, that's a classic movie.
It is a
And
classic.
You just denied.
It's an absolute
Movie-
classic movie, but I didn't like it.
When did you watch it?
I watched a movie theater when I was a kid.
And you didn't like it.
Nope. I mean, I've seen it since then, obviously, but
Go
I bet
back to watching your Pulp Fiction.
I haven't seen it in 20 years.
I would
but-
have to say 80s films are probably the best.
80s. Oh no, we've had this discussion. 80s are by far
with their pay, because that was the time where the blockbuster came out, but it was also the time where they were competing with television, and they've kind of reached their pacing.
I mean,
not only do their films work well on television, because television is more radio and audio and a little bit more faster pace, and in theaters you could always be slower with your pacing and your cutting and your editing and telling the story, because you have the audience's attention and you have a larger screen. And sort of the 80s is where they found that sort of middle ground where it was also going to work in the theaters and home video.
Right.
so we're gonna have to
Television.
we're gonna have to absolutely do a part 2
What was the
Yeah,
one?
what else you got there?
because we only got a couple
How about
minutes
Blade
left.
We got a
Runner?
couple minutes.
Okay, well,
Which just had a
It
sequel.
just had a
made of it.
remake. A sequel's a remake.
yeah, no,
basically.
it was a sequel though.
Yeah, it was basically a remake. though.
Yeah,
It
no,
was like,
I mean,
oh,
I think
let's-
most sequels are kind of remakes.
Yeah,
You
this
know?
was
I
just a
mean,
remake.
One that you just put on there that I thought of, I see Top Gun, which I think we should talk about next time.
Is
But
that being remade?
Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Fight Club's a tough one.
That could be remade.
But it shouldn't be remade.
See, I
That's
would-
the whole argument. It's not that it can be remade.
Yeah,
it
no, I
should
agree.
not.
So, like for instance, I would argue, and I only got two. I would argue
Yeah, we got a couple minutes,
That Top Gun is a little bit tougher to remake. That magic with Tom and Val Kilmer and them being co-pilots.
Right.
It's like a gay love story with a little subtext to it. It was amazing. And it had all the elements, the right
Oh,
music
it's got the
track,
soundtrack, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
The snarky 80s profanity in there. And Tom Cruise, you just had the right elements. So yes, I would agree. That's a little tougher to remake. But I would have to say Fight Club, it just...
You just don't want it. I mean,
No, I would want it.
No, Brad
Because I
Pitt as
feel like-
Tyler Durden. Like when Edward Norton walks in while he's nailing friggin' what's her face,
Yeah,
and
but
he's
I read
like,
the-
"Hey, you want to finish her off?" You know what I mean? It's
I
just
re- I
like
read the
he's
book.
just so laid back and just fun.
I read the book, and the book is better than the movie.
I think in most cases that is
And
true.
But what I'm saying is that the movie itself, I felt like Brad Pitt as Tyler Durden was a bad choice.
I liked him as
No,
Durden.
because he's
I
just
liked
too much of a pretty boy, and he doesn't. He tried to play that sort of hard edge, but it just doesn't work for me. His face just does not say hard edge to it. Maybe you could play it now, but if
I
you
also
had
haven't read the book, so
If you had a different actor that's like can play that hard edge, type of Tyler Durden character, so his name Durden.
yeah, Tyler Durden.
I think you'd better roll, and I think Ed Norton was not right.
I don't think he.
I don't like
yeah,
Ed Norton in that
I don't
role, too.
necessarily.
So that's
think him
one
either.
I feel like definitely good. You could change out those actors to get better, better movies.
I like Brad Pitt. I thought he was fun.
Better
Yeah.
casting is what you're saying.
No, Brad Pitt was too much of a ham. I mean, like
I don't know.
that
I
was
like
a period of his acting where everything was just like.
You know, one thing I have noticed as we're running out of time, we've talked a lot of Fincher films
Yeah. Well,
about not
Yeah.
remaking David Fincher films.
Fight Club can be remade. I would remake that. Who would be better as Tyler Durden?
I don't want someone to be. I just
Trying to
like
think
him.
here.
I thought he was likable. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, do you think? I thought Brad Pitt was a
I
good
feel like
choice.
it's a
Star
tough
Trek,
one.
for example.
Star Trek?
Yeah, they remade that. I think they did a good job of remaking.
I didn't see the originals.
the original, the first one.
I didn't see the originals.
Aren't those like prequels?
I saw the first one, but I didn't really care for Chris Pratt as
Chris Pine. I
Or Chris Pine, I mean.
Pine as I think he's I think he fulfills the role just perfectly.
over Shatner. I didn't see him with
Over
Shatner.
Shatner?
Yeah, Shatner.
I think he does-
What's the hell's his name? Not
William
Spock.
Shatner?
No.
William Shatner, yeah.
No, the character.
Kirk, Captain
Captain Kirk. Yes.
I
no,
think he
I don't
did,
know.
I think he did. I think he's the perfect younger Captain Kirk.
I didn't care for him. But anyway, we're running out of time, so
All right.
Alex was our co-host today. I'm one of your hosts.
So with
Joey
that
Powers.
said, go remake a movie.
I'm Don Trentler.
Who cares if you don't?
We
know
forgot
the
the
rights?
slogan, so
We
see you
forgot
at the
it.
movies.